record to this computer. Let's see, where were we
Right.
again? I just said the number.
57, you said.
Thank you. Okay, you're good with numbers. 7 and 9, they're real close. You tend to forget which one's which.
In the number 57, it's a gun day to be an outlaw.
Where is it? Gunday.
Yeah, when they sing it at the end, it's definitely like Gunday or something.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like, which I guess means rebel.
I mean, yeah, I
Is
think it means like outlaw.
outlaw. That's
That's
right.
how the
Rebel was
subtitles were translating it.
no, because I did when I was looking around, I got a little bit of that. But yes, it's Gunday, Gunday, Gunday. If you're from the South, like Mark and I are, this is Matt here,
That's
sitting
Mark.
down over there with Mark.
I thought it was about this day when all these guys had guns.
That
I don't
kind
know.
of was. I mean, that happened too. So it's not like it was misleading advertising. Oh, hi, Luke.
So, hi, Luke. Is this everybody's first time watching Gun Day?
Yes, of course.
Is this everyone's first time knowing this movie existed? Yes.
Yes, I
I
mean, I knew it existed, I guess, a couple years ago when you gave me the list of films we were covering, but
I didn't know what it was. That's the
I
Films and
love
Filth
not
list because this
knowing.
is Films and Filth. This isn't Kano podcasting. Mark loves not knowing certain things.
I love not knowing when I'm gonna watch a movie whether it's gonna be good list or bad list. Even though
mm,
I did, I couldn't resist the temptation to look up what it was rated, but I was like, I don't know.
Same here. Well,
Gun
this
Day could be
this runs
good,
into
could be
the
bad.
Smolensk issue. Although, okay, lay it
Eh,
on the table. Smolensk was not a fun movie to watch because it was just that
no.
yeah.
lady talking to people. This one, like, I don't know the deep politics that we'll try and get into and hopefully not say anything wrong. But yeah, I was like, how is this a bad
Well,
movie?
the film itself basically was just it's a story of immigrants growing up to become gangsters. But it decided to, in the opening, go way too into detail about the specific war they'd fled and show like shots of horrific activities and stuff. If they hadn't like done that little intro to set the scene, if they just said like, yeah, they were born in Bangladesh but they live in India, I don't think
And,
anyone would have been so annoyed.
and they went into no detail whatsoever about like the criminal activity. It was just like
Yeah.
they just say that we're outlaws. Look at our factory that we own. We're bad guys, but they spend most of the movie just singing songs and stuff until they don't. I guess it's whatever. We're all fans of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This is Golden Wind situation over here. It's just magic. Like they couldn't think of anything to make outlaws except for kind of fun guys who are on a like crusade for good who have guns.
I mean,
You know,
Hmm.
I guess I should just like read from Wiki what the main part of the controversy is. So at least I'm reading. I mean, we all know Wiki is not 100%, but it's
Hmm.
more than any of us trying to put this together, right?
Go on.
So it says after the release of the film, Bangladeshis protested on social media over the introductory narration of the film, which says that Bangladesh was created through the Indo-Pakistani War of 1971, and that
Hmm.
India's participation brought independence to Bangladesh. People from
Ah.
Bangladesh demanded the production house to apologize for its inaccurate representation. Contrary to the film's depiction, the country was created after the Bangladesh Liberation War, and India joined an already ongoing war of independence and was not the sole reason for the independence as told in the film. The film company did make an official apology statement, but this still went down. There was actually social media campaigns in Bangladesh to push the score down. Irate Bangladeshis lost a social media campaign with the hashtag Gunday Humiliated History of Bangladesh. That's a long hashtag. On Twitter, asking people to bury the film on the Internet Movie Database. Facebook groups were formed to boycott and downvote the films. As a result, the film suffered from vote brigading, and it was down to 1.4 when this was kind of in full effect. It currently holds, what is it now? Mark, you happen to be staring at that?
what the score 2.7.
2.7. So it's
Let
slowly climbing up
um
after being, like kicked in the crotch, whether justifiably
well
or unjustifiably. I really don't know. I guess it's like if the Patriot had like you know, like the
Well, it's
British.
like if every film America made said that they won all the wars by themselves.
Yeah.
Or yeah, if it just put something in the beginning that made us look worse than we already did. Um, I
I
don't
mean, I
know.
had a
Smolensk has 40,000 ratings. Uh, Gunday has 61,000. So I mean, okay, probably the part of that is probably that Poland probably has a much smaller population than Bangladesh or any of the surrounding countries. Um, but man, that's a lot of ratings. I'm looking at the list of films. I was just curious. Priyanka Chopra Jonas, who is listed as Priyanka Chopra. Do you want to know why her last name's Jonas now?
You married to one of the Jonas Brothers?
Yep,
Nice.
Nick Jonas married her. So,
cool.
yeah. So yeah, this is basically it's like the third lowest rated movie she did. Followed by Love Story 2050, which has 2.7 thousand ratings, and Diwana Main Diwana, which has 409 ratings. Those are 2.6. So, but she's done a lot. She's been in a lot of crossover stuff, like American
Yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Because I thought I recognized her. So I
She's
was
done
looking her
Hot
up, like,
Ones.
oh yeah, she's turned
Okay.
up and done.
And then
She did
And then also
Barfy.
the cop as well, I recognize.
yes, Irfan Khan was in Jurassic
Yeah,
World,
Yeah, he's
Slumdog
in a bunch of
Millionaire.
stuff. He's
Unfortunately,
like
died in
Hollywood.
2020. Huh.
yeah.
Really? I didn't know
He
that.
was
Damn.
very close to death in this. I was like, I thought he was kind of phoning it in. I felt bad later finding out that he was
Life of Pi.
probably
He's
fake.
only 53. That sucks. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I'm just trying to see Ranveer Singh. I'm not sure if I necessarily recognized him, and I don't think I did.
Nah, there's a bunch of things listed. The two leads, I don't. They they, they didn't look familiar to me. To be fair,
It
I
seems they're
thought
pretty
they were
fully.
both. To be fair, I thought they were both more attractive than the Boggy Three leads. For what that's worth, I think I liked Boggy Three a little more than
I
this.
enjoyed
But
Buggy 3 more, but like in
this is
ways that maybe it's
technically
not actually bad.
yeah. That's the thing is this is like the mess. The messy part of this film is the script, but I think the
Yeah.
production is much better, and the songs are really good.
Yeah, they had so much
And
Zoolander energy, I guess, to those two leads.
yeah, but yeah, but like they really owned it. Like they were Zoolander. They were the real Zoolander.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What else? Three Idiots, obviously that, but that didn't have as many songs. So
That's
this one just having a ton of
no.
songs was like a big plus, right?
That
Um,
felt almost closer to like a I don't want to say normal film. Like
a
a
Western film.
Hollywood, yeah, like a
Western film.
Western
Yeah.
Hollywood production, right? And it just had like one song that happened twice.
Yeah. But Boggy 3 does have like I am going to go destroy the country of Syria. Of course, this has I'm going to go
Well,
destroy the city of Calcutta, so
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it, man. It's like there are some weird parallels. Like in both of those movies, a woman wanders into the men's room. Like, is that a trope? Like I've I don't know. I feel like I've seen a few or Southeast Asian movies, and I don't remember that
Maybe
happening
it's
in any of the other
because
ones.
like just having a men's and women's room is a little more new there.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's
also with
the closest thing you can do to get risque. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
no, she's in the men's room. Oh
with
man,
all
this is
the
like
chest thumping and sharing the same girl, not really, but kind of. I also got like some face-off vibes.
no, dude. Have you got? Neither of you guys have seen Challengers, have you?
I probably
I'm
should
aware of
have.
it.
I've
I need to
certainly
This
watch
haven't
it
been.
because
is
of who wrote it.
Challengers is amazing. This is a lot like Challengers, except for these guys don't make out with each other and they don't play tennis. And also, I guess nobody has sex. Anyway, um, the Challengers is an amazing movie that was ridiculous that it wasn't nominated for any Oscars last year. But yeah, I don't know how to explain the parallels, but the whole thing where it's like we're in love with the same girl and it's great.
They had
We
sex in
love
this
each
movie. It
other.
just took the form of an exotic perfume commercial and a song. I mean, that's what that was, right? That's how
No,
Bollywood works.
no, that did not. That was not sex. They did not have sex. That was canonically that did not happen. They were just thinking about dancing with each other. That's what actually happened.
Okay, I get your challenge. I'm looking at my notes here, and I did write, why are these guys fighting over a woman? They clearly need to fuck each other.
I thought they were
Or play
actual
tennis.
brothers for most of the film.
Me too. Oh my god, I thought that
I
was
got
just.
that they
I thought
weren't.
I was
I
just.
got that they weren't. So
Yeah, I picked it
Okay.
up eventually, but for a lot of the film, I thought they were. And that's why it felt extra weird when they were obsessed with the same girl.
and they
And
were
also
just
when they
like,
seemed pretty down with sharing her as well.
Keep it in the family. No, I did not have that vibe because I did pick up that they were not related from the get-go for whatever reason. I don't remember what tipped me off, but I was tipped. I
now,
guess
there was
like
a scene with the cop where he kept saying, "Your friend." They kept telling whichever one he was putting pressure on, who's like,
Yeah.
"Your friend is going to be in trouble. Your friend, your friend." I was like, okay. He wouldn't say your friend if it was literally his brother.
Hmm.
yeah. This is a movie that we had a little trouble watching on dodgy sites and glitchy things. So if you're listening, you haven't seen it, we understand that. I guess I need to go ahead and throw the story out on this one. And you tell me if I'm getting it wrong because it's a weird script.
The story could actually be boiled down pretty simple, though.
Yeah, well, let's see how I did it then.
You
Bala
wouldn't
and
have
Bikram.
spent ages on it, I'm sure.
It's longer than you'd write, but it's shorter than Mark would do. I guess that's pretty much how most of these work out.
Yep.
Bala and Bikram are refugees who find themselves in Calcutta as children. They begin racketeering the coal trade and grow up to be the outlaw kings of Calcutta. Officer Sarkar, the assistant commissioner of police, goes after them, while both bandits fall in love with Nandita, a cabaret dancer. As they wait to find out who she loves, Bala is framed for murder and leaves Calcutta. Bikram promises to wait for Bala to come back, but instantly reneges on that promise and gets into Nandita because she is into him. And it turns out that because Nandita is actually an officer meant to split up the bandit duo. Bala returns to Calcutta in a rage, kidnaps Nandita, and antagonizes Bikram. The duo eventually reconciles and runs for a passing train to get away from it all, or shot at, or maybe dying. It's not 100% clear.
Yeah, I
They're
like the
dead.
ending, leaving it.
No, I like the ending. I'm just like, and yeah. Sorry, I
I
was kind of
mean,
like reformatting a few sentences while I was reading that, so hopefully it
Right.
didn't come out too incoherently.
I hate to say it, but it did make the sounds of bullets going through people, and then
I
there were
know.
like little red dots on their photographs. But yeah, I
Well, you
found it
just
like a
watched
little bit.
Django Unchained, where half, or not half the movie, but the last 20 minutes of the movie is, squirting noises of blood spurts.
Yeah, it was subtle, but it was also kind of like I don't know.
Yeah, it felt almost like a sort of whatever the Indian equivalent of the Hays Code is. We can't show them actually kill the main characters at the end of the film, but
But it also didn't make a whole lot of sense for them to like rather get shot than go to like prison, I guess, unless the prison is really
no,
terrible
because
there or
they're
whatever it is.
outlaws, man. They can't surrender. It's better to die free than live on your knees. I thought it made perfect
Yeah.
sense.
I mean, their
Also,
Which
factory got blown up.
I would
innocent kid
imagine
do?
Indian prison is not very nice, Mark.
Maybe.
The
Yeah,
drained one.
yeah, their factory got blown up and the whatever that guy got shot and they don't have they're not going to get the girl,
Well,
I
that's kind of
guess.
the fascinating thing about the whatever the Indians Hays Code is, because we're gonna get real intense right up to the point of blood coming out. Now nothing's going to happen. Things are gonna get real sexy, but there's not gonna be any sex, you know?
I don't think it's a code as much as it is like literal societal pressure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
That's
we
what I think it's.
yeah.
I don't think it's a literal code necessarily.
Yeah, cuz I mean, like I keep bringing this up, but the movie Kill from last year was like one of the most violent things I've ever seen in my life. But it didn't have kissing in it. No kissing.
Right,
Anyway,
right, right. Yeah,
uh,
and I mean, wasn't there an Indian movie a few years ago that did have a kiss and it was some insane controversy?
I remember Richard Gere like really fucking things up, like kissing someone at an awards show, and it was like a huge scandal. But
Oops.
it was like it wasn't like somebody he knew. It was just like he kissed the like lady who he was presenting an award with or something, just being a creep, basically.
Well, he wasn't
Hmm.
in gear that day.
Maybe he was on some
Oh,
gear.
possible.
Let's see
I
what
think
else
this is
we.
probably. I'm gonna look it up, and it's gonna be like 1995, and I'll feel old as shit. Oh
Uh,
no, no, actually, no. She got in trouble.
Of course.
for kissing
Oh,
him.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. 15 years after the Richard Gere kiss, in 2022, she was finally cleared of her obscenity charge. The entire case rested on the fact that she, quote, did not protest when she was kissed by the co accused. Horrible. I condemn
Wild.
I condemn the entire society of obscenity.
I condemn the society of
Condemn.
obscenity. Some other
Uh,
movies. Sorry, I'm just in like movie comparison mode, I guess, which probably helps again because this one's a little bit hard to see. But we've already
yeah.
watched Capernaum. I forgot how.
Capernaum
Thank
was
you.
Lebanese. Anyway,
And then City of God is coming up. That's Brazilian, of course, but
yeah.
just for the children, and we get 20 minutes of that stuff at the beginning, right? Which is kind
Yeah.
of the most
Mm.
disturbing stuff in the film. Like, the Bangladeshi were disturbed by the intro, and then them as kids, I mean, the one kid almost gets like molested by the army guy, right? So that felt like Capernaum territory for sure, and we get out
Mm.
of that. Now it's dancing and biceps and greased dudes, right? So it
I
does
think maybe
change
that's
gears.
also part of why the controversy did was as bad as it was, because the film begins seeming like it's going to be a pretty serious film about like growing up in hardship. It shows like images of a mass grave from a genocide. It's like
Mhm.
we're not treated like real Indians because we were born in Bangladesh, but we see ourselves as Indian. And then very quickly it becomes a fun Bollywood romp about a couple of lads up to no good.
Well, that's what I was hoping for. I was like, at the beginning, I was bummed out. I'm like, oh God, is this whole thing going to be really like dour?
Hmm.
Like, I don't. Then I was like,
No,
oh,
once they
thank.
Especially when you're
once
looking at like the 2 hour and 45 minute
hmm
runtime and stuff.
Uh-huh.
once
I'm not
they
in the
throw
mood
up
for
the
this.
title screen though, it's like, okay, so this has to be somewhat amusing.
Yeah.
A fantastic title splash screen. In this movie, again, it's had the controversy, right? Budget wise, I don't know how much core is, but it has a 2.5 times multiplier of budget to box office. That's a
Hmm.
success. That's good.
Hmm.
10th highest grossing Bollywood release of 2014. They make a lot of movies. That's
Yeah.
that's
And the
not
highest
Yeah.
grossing February Bollywood movie, apparently, whatever that means.
all right. So,
So it sounds like they really had a good chance for this to be successful, and they really, really fucked it up.
what was successful is the point.
Oh, well, I mean, successful on IMDb. I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
one of the
Is that success?
core things we're looking at in this podcast is like doesn't matter. And then you get a movie like this where the wiki is like there was vote brigadiering, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, then
Yeah,
this
it's like I'm
score
glad I
means
saw
nothing.
it. It's not like the greatest Bollywood movie I've ever seen, but I enjoyed it and I don't regret watching it.
No,
No,
I'd give it
I
that.
I want to watch. I every time we do one, I'm like, man, I should watch more Bollywood.
I think we got a few
Yeah.
more coming up.
Yeah.
But like this movie, Gentleman Six, right? I had a good time watching it. Probably won't do it again. If I did watch, I'd just go from the title screen most likely.
Oh yeah, there's like I could watch other Bollywood films before I watch this. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is Laxmo? Is that I don't know what that is. That's a Tees Mar Khan. That sounds like it might be Indian. Yeah, these are the ones where we
Are
don't
these
really know.
bad list?
I don't even
Are they
know.
all bad list?
But then again, I might just like I'm just looking at words that like don't look familiar to me and wonder if these are Indian. Ines Batur,
Tizmar
like that one, I'm
Khan.
not sure about.
Yeah, Tizmar Khan, interestingly, is now rated higher than Gunday. It's like Gunday has gone lower since he made this list. Um,
No,
but
I
it's
sent you
bad
guys. I
list.
finally found it was an official list, but the scores don't make sense. You
Ooh.
know,
Hmm.
Oh
if you
man, actually, Tizmar Khan looks the look of it. It looks like I don't know. It looks amazing. It looks very neon, big, big neon Cuban looking. I don't know what Cuban is the right word.
think Ines
It looks
Batur
like
might be
Miami.
Turkish. Oh, it's Turkish. Okay, so that's gonna be
Okay,
a
well then that
Turkish one on the
explains
list.
that
Cool.
explains it why it looks more like Miami. I don't know why that makes sense, but it's somehow Turkish means Miami. I don't
But
know.
yeah, when I see the title Gunday, I am like, yeah, I mean, that could be the name of like a, Liam Neeson revenge flick too, right? So, although
Hmm.
that would be Gun Day is 2 words, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
So
now I'm
this is
just going
definitely
down a
like,
rabbit hole of movies that look amazing on IMDb.
that's the point of doing this. But yeah, like that's the thing. You get an interesting thing list of movies to talk about. Like this is just something. I mean, we were never even going to know one of these exist, or none of us would know this movie existed, right? Unless it was on this
Hmm.
weird arbitrary list. So that's the fun of that.
Yeah, I'm sure there are more fun ones than this, but I had a lot of fun. Matt, how do you feel like that second musical number where they had all those light up letters that said Calcutta and they were dancing around? How do you feel like that compares to all that jazz?
I was actually thinking of Chicago more. Probably
Oh
because it's
yeah.
named after a city. I get what you're saying. I will say I like the one before better with the, the color festival thing going on, and the one after, which was just people running around the streets. I want people running around the streets. Like the problem with the Calcutta, not it wasn't bad or anything, just it was too staged. I want these things to be out of control and all over the place, right?
Hmm.
Which it does have that energy
Well,
still, but just narratively, you are watching a stage show at that point.
I do think it's a lot like Hong Kong, where these people are probably putting so many movies out that you have guys that are just ultra professional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I
Like
was
when you
thinking when they're performing, and they're again, they're not the best actors. They didn't suck, but then they have to go into the song and do it well and emote well, and do all the dance moves
And a fight
perfectly.
scene and do the stunts and do.
They're dancing way too hard. I'm like, these people as are gonna like have no cartilage in 10 years dancing like that, you know?
Hey, but it's always like that where you don't notice it because you don't think about things like this, but it's like all the editing is perfect. Everyone knows where the camera is at all times. The blocking, the shots are set up exactly right, like impeccably, no matter how low the budget is. That's the same thing with like kung fu movies from the early '80s
Yeah,
when
and I
you'd
was
see.
noticing a lot of like really good and inventive shots in this movie, right? Like it,
Hmm.
is well directed. The main flaw would be that they stepped in a pile of poo by having too much of an introduction, and the script is, could I mean any movie 2 hours 45 minutes could probably be tightened up, 35 minutes, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I suppose there are things I would, as always, there are things I forgave it for that I probably would be mad at an American movie for doing, like
Well, even the
the
length,
whole
right?
not knowing what
Indian
the
Indian
gangster thing is.
cinema, Indians feel ripped off if the movie's like less than 2.5 hours long, right? They're like, if it's
Yeah,
less than 2 hours, what are you doing? Why did I pay for the theater, you know?
it might be the only time you get to be in air conditioning that whatever day that is.
Yeah, but you have to pad this
It's
stuff out,
for
like
real though. Yeah.
just yeah, you cannot make a short. The reason they're so long is because you can't make a short one. America's getting that way. Hollywood's getting that way. I mean, sub two
Mm.
hour movies are getting
Yeah,
rare.
probably kind of for the same reason, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's like if I'm going to pay to go to a
Exporting.
movie theater, give me some movie.
Well, yeah,
Whereas
and
in
then
the
also
'90s,
like you say, Mark, yeah, they're also selling it in China and India and have to compete on that basis.
right, right.
Which I'm not saying that I am in love with movies being over 2 hours long, but I do like broad humor. I like the kind of things that play well in China. So I don't,
The
but
only thing that really the music in this one, and because they show a bit of that '70s one that she's dancing in front of, right? And I'm like,
Mm.
I kind of want to be watching that movie.
yeah.
There's that certain retro vibe you get from that. I mean, when Ghost World came out, all of us were like, what? This is crazy. It was kind of new to us at the time.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
so there's that, and also there is, especially for Mrs. Jonas is singing. There's a lot of auto tune, and I hate auto tune.
Well, it's got to
That's
get
the
with the
most
times,
movie
man.
snob Matt opinion you've expressed so far today.
This is 10 years. This is 10 years ago. So it's not even new anymore. There's probably less auto-tune now, I would think.
Probably,
I
but I'm
think
still
there's
annoyed by it.
less
There's less songs.
well, yeah, I was gonna say there's less of the kind of in your face auto tune T-Pain stuff. And there's probably a lot more subtle auto tune that we don't even notice because they've gotten better at it.
Right, right. And well, like this was they weren't T-painting her. Like honestly, there it's just like, okay, that's how we're singing now. Just those
Yeah,
little,
that's like a an art form unto itself, right?
yeah.
That's
Like
like
you're just
being the
like,
guy who's like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't like electronic music because you're not playing a physical piano.
right. I don't like
Yeah.
T-Pain, but yes, that's his thing, so it's
Mm.
fine. That's his artistic tool.
Well, it was like I was having an argument with people on Reddit, as I often do, about how
That's
they
a good
could
way to
make,
spend your life, your limited
yeah,
time on this earth.
feeling great about it. How I keep having this argument where people are like, they shouldn't make Metroid into an FPS because then it would just be like every other FPS. And I was like, you're wrong. Not all FPSs are bad or the same. They can make Metroid anyway. That sometimes Nintendo fans are just not you guys.
No, that sounds
Maybe
like a. Oh, well, actually, you know whose opinion that sounds like? And to bring us back to this podcast, Bauer.
Ah.
um, You guys
Yeah.
probably have mostly heard about him rather than interacting with him. Mark, you've recently seen his
I've
opinions on Hades.
I've heard it. I listened to his podcast. What the couple that Jay put up? They're very entertaining.
Oh, okay,
I'm
so you have heard his
into it.
voice, yeah,
Yeah.
and you've
Um.
heard his music many times.
Oh, it does.
He's the
Is
one.
he
He's
the
the one who went
composer
to
for the?
Andy's. Yeah, went to
Okay.
Andy's stag do, but then didn't want to stay at the venue with us because
Okay.
um the previous time we went to an Airbnb, he thought he was going to get a bedroom to himself, and he didn't. But then it meant that he was barely at the stag.
Yeah. Sometimes it just frustrates me how conservative Nintendo fans can be because Nintendo is like a very unconservative
Yeah, yeah,
company as far as video games go. So I'm like okay, yeah, they're doing a Donkey Kong that's different than what you're used to. Like, why can't you just
yeah. It
either
looks amazing.
appreciate it? Yeah, either appreciate it for what it is, or go. You can go play like any of 8 Donkey Kong Country games.
Hmm.
But people are just mad.
But like, I don't.
And
I think those people don't actually represent a
it might,
majority. Well, you can tell they don't because the games fucking sell.
yeah, it might just be again. I'm spending too much time on Reddit.
Yeah,
It's funny. I looked it up. I was like, if everyone who was on Reddit bought a Nintendo Switch too, it would that there are like 3 times more Nintendo Switches than there are Redditors.
yeah.
One thought here, just moving back to the movie. Does
Mm.
everyone that has a well-groomed mustache in this movie suck? Like having a well-groomed mustache makes you horrible. You match with a
I don't
beard,
know.
that's fine, but if it's
Yeah,
just
I
a
was
well-groomed
gonna
mustache.
say, Vikram had a pretty good mustache, but it was with his whole beard.
Right, right, right. I don't want to offend your mustache, right? You got the beard going with it, but I'm talking about the I guess it's because they're all like the like bureaucratic guys and the one like mole guy, right? The
Yeah, yeah,
snitch.
that does seem to be like a the look of like authority figures in Indian media.
Which yeah, I guess it just looks kind of like from that's not how we rock. It looks weird, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
mean
all the
that's
outlaws
quite an
are.
old school image of like an authority figure in the West,
Yeah,
whereas in India it seems
there's
to
some
still
like
be
dirty
relevant.
hairy. There's some dirty hairy DNA in this thing, which is fine.
No, it's
Why
also
not?
it's Dirty Harry in the correct
Exploitation.
way, where like Harry's not the good guy in that film.
Yeah, it felt like the movie definitely felt like it was kind of afraid to condemn the cops or to make the outlaws good or bad. It was sort of like everyone was kind of good except for when they did something bad. I
Hmm.
didn't like get a strong moral compass from this like at all. It felt kind of like, well, there's everybody's just having fun until someone gets shot
They all see the gods
or
within each other.
is jealous.
No one could be truly bad or truly good.
Um
Hmm.
Yeah, again, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Where it's like in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, a lot of times it's like nobody's evil except for the one guy they find who's like really fucked up,
Yeah.
or the guy who they fight at the end of the season who's basically Satan. Um,
You don't want to give Satan a heart of gold.
it was like they had like, the first season was like a vampire, and the second season was like this guy made out of guts, and then the third season was the vampire, but but more powerful. The fourth season was a serial killer, and the fifth season was like the what Satan? Yeah, and then the sixth one was like the guy who was so evil that he destroyed the universe. So it was like sort of like, where do you go? Where
Yeah,
do
the
you go?
sixth one is the one I don't know yet because I read up
Okay.
to part five because that's where Mercy likes it, and now we're watching part five, and we watched one and two because I like Joseph.
It's great. It's great. I think I don't know. I think it just keeps getting better after the third arc.
It's still
Personally,
only
like
seen
I
in 3 hour
love.
live musical form.
Yeah, that's part one, which is
I know
so
that's part
tonally
one.
different than the others.
Yeah. But just the fact that, well,
Yeah,
you saw it too, but
absolutely.
just seeing that completely in Japanese and, just in a completely different format, I'm like, my vision is so skewed, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Matt only knows
Well,
Speedwagon
the
as a
first.
rapper.
I only know Speedwagon as a rapper.
That's so weird. Why wouldn't Speedwagon like sing like Arya's?
Are you the Speedwagon songs?
Because
Yeah.
he like raps the exposition.
Sounds like
Oh,
you missed a
I gotta.
musical.
I did miss a
The
musical.
musical is
I
great.
feel bad. I gotta
Oh man,
watch
I
it
was in
somehow.
Tokyo a few weeks ago, and that they're now starting to disassemble that building. It was kind of depressing. The
The
Imperial
whole
Theater.
building?
Yeah, they're taking
Damn.
the whole thing out. Yeah, they're going to build something new there, I think, and build a new Imperial Theater. But I like that one with all the mid-century modern crap inside. That was great.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'll say this is a slight, is not really a spoiler, but the sixth arc does actually commit to it being a women in prison story. Like it's not a
Very
magical
cool.
adventure because they're in prison. It's like,
Right.
for most of it. Anyway,
I mean, I'm
um,
assuming they get out at some point.
yeah, they do.
But I've seen clips of her in like a car chase. So
Yes, that does happen. But they announced that they're adapting the seventh arc, which everybody
of course I
insists
heard
is,
about this.
yeah, people insist that's one of the greatest. That is like the best or one of the best. So excited. Anyway, this always turns into a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure
I
podcast.
know,
We
I
need to
love
start one of
it.
those.
That's okay. At least 5% of our listenership loves it.
It's true, and
That's mercy.
that's great. Let's get that down to like less than 1%, people. Let's get more people on here, and actually let's
No,
keep
I
the
think we should keep
percentage
the
at
percentage
5.
at 5%. We just need
Yes,
more JoJo fans to start listening.
I mean, the
exactly.
story of this is pretty in
It is
line with the
very
You
JoJo.
could very much
Jesus
just
Yeah.
Christ.
just change the
Yes.
names a little bit, right? How are we going to change his name? His name is Bikram
Oh yeah, they should.
Jokram
Joke.
Drala. We'll just throw in the other guy's name in too. Drala Star.
It's funny that we had a Vikram in Boggy 3, and now we have Bikram.
Well, yeah, I guess it's like having, Johns and
Like a,
Steves and Marks and Matts, right?
yeah, I guess so. I had to look it up. I was like, wait, was there a Bikram in that one too? Like, what the parallels? It's got to be just tropes, right? I don't know. The bathroom thing was what really blew my mind. I was like, what is going on? Um, so yeah, I think that our country probably did a lot of terrible things in Bangladesh, and it feels
I
kind of
know
wrong to
for a
gloss.
fact that my country did a lot of terrible things in that part of the world, and I
As I had,
should know more about them, but I never learned any of that history at school. I've only learned it from Doctor Who and this.
yeah, nothing, none of our like educational system addresses anything. It's like basically sounds like Richard Nixon and Henry Kissinger enabled a bunch of genocide, and I think that Britain divided. It was some kind of weird thing where
Well,
they
we
divided
conquered the region for 200 years. We agreed to
yeah.
give it back, and then we were like, "Oh, there might be some awkwardness between this Muslim community and this Hindu community. We'll just draw a big fucking line down the middle and say Muslims on this side, Hindus on that side. We are not
Yeah.
going to listen to any nuance. Bye."
Yeah, that is, yep, you got it.
I mean, when this movie is starting out, like me not knowing anything about what they are or not doing with its prologue, I'm just like, what do I know about this? Well, I know George Harrison threw a concert for Bangladesh in 1972, so I guess it's related to this in a way, but I just know the
Oh,
concert, which was not in Bangladesh. They did the concert in like
what's
California or
I,
something.
it's wild to think this country is younger than either of my parents. It's like not only
Hmm.
that, but I mean, geez, Matt and I weren't even born very long after Bangladesh started existing. And I guess Lawrence of Arabia really set this off where I was like, I wonder like what were politics like in the Middle East? And it was just so much of everything that we know from that sort of general area of the world was
Well,
just
the thing
made up.
is, yeah, all the politics like you're
There-
mentioning are like within our parents' lifetimes, but the cultural and the actual history is, older and shit,
Mhm.
right? That's
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
three,
that's
four
it.
thousand years.
Countries have only
Uh-huh.
existed since like 1850 or something. So,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's just the idea of like waving a flag like it's kind of nationalism in general is like even younger than our country,
yeah,
which
I
is
think I have a slightly skewed perspective of countries because I've lived on two island nations. And by geographical necessity, we've had an identity that's lasted longer because the island's been there the whole time. So, like, the borders of England didn't change anywhere near as much as the borders of France and Germany because it's the sea.
yeah, and then we learn about things like the South Korea having like 5 governments since it was
Yeah.
founded, and then since we recorded the Memories of Murder podcast, like
They
they
tried
had
another
a
coup, yeah.
uh-huh. Yeah, the president was, I think, impeached like and stop. He was stopped from doing a coup like three different separate times. Um,
Cool beans.
They impeached him as hard as he could.
I don't know if impeaching does anything. I think you just have
Make
to
him,
like take the
well,
guy and put him in a cage.
that's that. Yeah.
Put the cage in body of water or something,
Hmm.
and then dunk him over and over.
Would you gift? Have you ever given a girl the gift of fish?
Um, I mean, I've cooked a fish supper for some girls, so yeah.
But just like, here's a fish. I just was like, that's weird.
I One time I was at one of those parking lot carnivals with like two when I was much younger with two girls who both sort of liked me, and then one of them I won one of them a goldfish and was like, here you go. And then the other one got jealous and mad and was just like, look at this stupid fish, and just kept like shaking it. And
He murdered that
yeah,
fish.
that the fish did not die at that moment, but yeah, guess which one I actually dated?
The one you didn't give the
Murderer.
fish?
The one who like shook the fish. That was a mistake.
Hmm.
Mm, oops.
Then you
Hey,
became the fish and she shook you.
Yep.
should the red flag should have gone up. Hey, here's something they said. I was like, that's not the case when they're like if someone's gonna urinate publicly, they're more likely to do it at the sign. I'm like, no, they aren't. You know, you just really have to piss. Because they're like, oh, let's just go make the deal like where everybody knows what we're doing. It's like, no, that's a terrible plan. Why are you doing that?
And no one who wrote this film knows what crime is or how to do things. It's so innocent in a way that it's like thoroughly charming to me. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
like
it's like
someone,
where he goes up against the guy with a fucking sledgehammer with his fist, but it's no problem. He just punches the guy. Dude's got a sledgehammer.
yeah, yeah,
That's not
it's
how this
just,
works.
but it's like the opposite of the gritty realism. This is 2014. Like gritty realism was old in the
Yeah.
West at this point. They're just like, fuck it, who cares? Nothing's real. Doesn't matter.
I guess that's part of the fun of this movie, though. It's just, yeah, it's like so far away from. Again, it starts out and you think you're about to get 2.5 hours of gritty realism, and then you don't. So
Yeah.
then you just
I
get a
was
bunch
glad I
of
didn't.
dude nips.
Yeah. I mean, City of God, good list movie, does have a lot of gritty realism, but it's like really
That is the
also
first 20
fun.
minutes of this for the whole time, but it's more fun than
No,
Capernaum, too, right?
the City of God goes harder than either of those, like by far, but it's also more fun.
Well, and it's also
So
just made
it's also
better.
just good. Yeah, it's like
It's like
it's hard to
auteur
compare,
level
really.
filmmaking, right?
Yeah, it's
Where
hard to compare.
I guess you could argue Capernaum is like, I would never call Gunday like
Yeah.
auteur level, but like you guys are saying, there is a lot of like spit and polish in the Bollywood machine here. So you're certainly not getting garbage unless you're, um, you know, in Bangladesh.
Well, yeah, but Capernaum is almost kind of opposite, where that is very real. It's like
Hmm.
it's hyper real, like to the point where they were had
To the point where it was almost not a fun film because it just felt like
Well, it wasn't a fun
watching
film.
footage, right?
We were like, hey,
No,
there's
it
like
barely,
three
it
yeah,
fun
almost didn't
moments,
feel like
yay.
a film. It felt like,
yeah, it's a documentary almost, because they
Yeah,
did just film a bunch of just do whatever you want and we'll edit it into a film, which that worked really well in that
right. Whereas
case.
this is the most stylized stuff ever, right? Like every
Yeah,
movement is choreographed. Like not just the dancing, but just everything, you know?
yeah, and City of God is a very deliberate and fictional movie, but it's also you know gritty. It's
Well,
just a
but
different kind of.
that one has like, like art house bells and whistles too.
yeah.
It's more like Old Boy than it is like Capernaum. I'll say
Yes,
that.
yes. Even
Hmm.
though it has more of the plot of your Cabernet or whatever. But
Yeah.
um I guess we'd start doing some questions unless someone has a big point they want to throw out. I'm just screaming out my dumb notes as I see them, so I think I've gotten through most of
Um,
those. Oh,
do
I
you
do
feel
like
like
how there's a shooting and that party does not end. Just shoot them in. They keep playing music. They keep dancing. Nobody gives a shit. That was
yeah,
great.
It's not a party
yeah,
until you've had two or three shootings.
Yeah.
it's Calcutta, man. That stuff it's dangerous out here. I like how these guys basically become Rambo at the end.
They literally put the headband on even. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we suddenly
Yeah,
getting
I
like
think the
which
imagery of
casting
Rambo
character.
is still considered very cool in India because didn't you say the guy who made Baggy is making Rambo as his next film?
Last I checked, that was sort of in limbo, even though there is a trailer for it. But and it's hard to look up
Hey, that's
facts.
proof of concept.
It's hard to look up facts about stuff on the
Yeah,
internet because the internet is
AI
full of
bullshit. Yeah.
lies. um, I don't know, but oh, it's brand new news. Oh, for Tiger Shroff, massive deadlifts with 180 kilograms after 10-hour shoot is Bahut Light. I don't know what that means. Bahut Light? Is that the name of the movie? I don't know. Before he starts, the actor is heard saying, shooting Kabad, 180 kilo. He's lifting a bunch of weights and shooting something.
Cool.
That's it. I'm looking
That's what I
forward to
want.
it, man. Yeah. Friend of the podcast, Tiger Shroff, making something where he's lifting a ton of weights. Cool.
That's what
Um,
filmmaking's missing is guys who just lift weights and shoot stuff.
yeah. And I hope he gets to do his Rambo and whatever the hell else, Boggy 4, Boggy 5, Boggy 6, whatever
I
he
hope his
wants to do.
Rambo is so successful that in a few decades from now, people forget that there was a Stallone one first.
Boggy Part 7.
Yeah.
The
No, no, it's
prequel, The Beginning.
no, 6. I was trying. Yeah, okay. Um, this one, film, filth. It is one of the more
I'm
interesting
starting
ones.
to believe that maybe only Bollywood makes films.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're not getting a whole lot out of Hong Kong, so I mean,
No.
Bollywood seems to be. You don't know how tempted I am to bring Kill in for my birthday movie, even though I'm not doing that. But God,
It's your
please
birthday
watch that
movie.
if you're listening and you're interested in that at all from my description. You want to see a guy like turn people into red paste, then like watch that shit. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna call this a film. He's with apologies to the population of Bangladesh, I guess. But I mean, hey, start at like I said, start at 20 minutes in if you need to.
Yeah,
Still a long movie.
I'm gonna say a film, even though I mean I'm gonna put an asterisk and be like, if I saw a movie that ran America's reputation through the dirt in any possible way, I wouldn't be offended, and that's why
Yeah.
I can say that. So, um, if this if you're offended, then I totally get it. But I'm just like, yeah, I enjoyed what I understood.
Well, when you think about the per capita of what folks in America have and what folks in Bangladesh have, if they want to get a little pissier, I guess they
Mm.
can have that right because they're not in the
I
States.
mean, don't get me wrong, dude. Yeah, America is like probably 90% of Americans cannot fucking handle any amount of criticism of their country. So it's like, yeah, yeah, I'm very much an outlier. Hmm.
Um, so I'm looking at reviews here. As you could probably guess, they're either not written by a native speaker or they're going on about the controversy. Okay, I'll do one from
Hmm.
2014. It does a little, well, it's yeah, excellent acting, interesting plot, stunning locales and cinematography. Unexpected twists and turns mark this memorable film, while an undercurrent of suspense runs through the song and dance sequences. A throwback to the 70s style of swashbuckling Bollywood, the main plot is reminiscent of Sholay, of two outlaws with good hearts. Ah, which good-natured person can fault that? Now, half of Bangladesh has turned out en masse to shoot this film down on account of their perceptions and historical accuracies. They beg to differ on two counts. Sorry, I beg to differ. This is not a historical documentary. There are many sides and versions of history. I don't like that explanation though, do you?
Hmm.
Um, I have friends have had to flee Bangladesh in the immediate aftermath of the war, leaving everything behind, losing their relatives as they were the wrong religion. No one can say this did not happen. So, yeah, okay, we're getting other grievances thrown out in some of these reviews. That's kind of interesting.
Uh,
Um,
Um,
Often I'll say, like, maybe we're not the people to discuss this film.
well,
I think in
oh,
this case, we are the people to discuss this film because we're not tied into all the baggage that everyone else seems to have.
yeah,
right, right. I mean, we are just watching it
um,
for what it is, and hey, well, it's fine, you know.
yeah, but I'm also like, man, since I truly don't understand what would upset people about it, then I'm also kind of, mm, okay. Here's I like to read the least helpful review. Um, Mass Entertainer, good movie, but it can be much better. After Ishakwazad, this is best performance by Arjun Kapoor. Climax is very good. Really, I love Climax. I think review on IMDb is not fair. We must watch this movie. 0 out of 2
Generally, as a
thumbs up.
rule, I do love Climax.
Me too.
Mm.
Matt, do you love Climax?
Yeah, of course. Uh,
I haven't seen the movie Climax, so it's like
oh,
a
we're talking about a movie?
addition to it. Yeah, there's a Gaspar Noé movie called Climax, and I have seen one of his movies and do not like it. And apparently, I know what Irreversible is, and I'm not watching that. So,
Were you reading a 10 there or reading an interesting one?
I was reading a 10.
Okay, just checking because that it sounded like they were. That's one of those 10s that wasn't really 10s, which is fine, especially for this movie. I think it makes sense, but for Batman, it doesn't. When you are writing your 6-star review at a 10 level, that's stupid. But this one has just become a weird pissing contest of rankings. Again, we've seen the tide turning a little bit. It's gone up 1.3 on the IMDb meter, right?
Well, but then the one movie that was rated lower is now higher than this, so I'm not really sure. So, do you know what it was rated before you started the list?
No, sorry, I didn't do the ratings
Okay.
at the time.
Yeah, what's that other movie from Turkey? But I don't have the name in front of
But
me.
if you look, the official list, the rankings do not actually make sense. Like now I'm a little confused on
Yeah,
how IMDb does this. So if you were
Maybe
confused,
they
then
they have some way of cutting out like bot reviews or
dude.
something that we don't
and
see.
maybe they're like balancing number
I don't-
against the score. I don't know, but yeah. So, but
Hmm.
because I think several times when I think I was just looking at someone's curated list and finding it again, I was like, no, I am looking at the official list. The official list is just weird.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to use Microsoft Word, and it's
Okay,
just not letting
Mark's
me.
Mark's word processing. I guess that means
Okay,
we wrap
sorry.
it.
Tease Marcon is at 100, which is wait, no, it's 50,
Sorry,
and
is
this
T's
is
Marcon good or bad according to the list?
it's it. When you made the list, it was worse, but now it's better.
Just
So
it's on the
this,
bad list, is what you're saying.
yes,
Okay, that was my
it's
main.
on
That
the
was
bad
my.
list.
My question is binary.
Okay, but the point I was trying to make is that that movie is now this movie is lower than that movie now.
Right.
Mm.
Oh, right. Okay.
Whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
Like
Well, it's the official one. They made weird decisions. Is my point. So
it's gonna until they
this is gonna break
take
Mark's
the
brain.
IMDb
It's the
until they take
official
I
IMDb
list, but it
stopped
doesn't make
listening to you two
sense.
ages ago. You know I don't care about this.
until
I
they
don't care
erase
either. I'm just
IMDb and start
responding.
over. Yeah, this is gonna be low, and well,
Okay,
I'm
that's
watching
well,
Mark word
okay.
process. Okay, Gunday.
I liked it. It's fine.
Gunday.
am I coming through? I like Gunday. It's
Yeah,
fun.
I felt like Luke was about to like patch out, so I was trying to make Gunday sound like an Australian goodbye or something. Gunday.
Uh,
Oh,
Gunday.
hey,
There we go.
Gunday, mate.
I'm doing a Terrence and Phillip accent there.
films and filth. Like and subscribe, rate and review. Find us on Blue Sky at Podcast. Support us on Patreon at Podcastius. Bye.
Gunday.
And you insert a Bollywood song here.
Well, I have to choose something of mine that kind of has the